loomed high above the dense forest, casting eerie silhouettes of gnarled branches that crisscrossed like the claws of some sleeping beast. A winding, narrow path cut through the towering trees, leading to an ominous, ancient mansion perched atop a hill. The place was spoken of in hushed whispers around town. Windcroft Manor, a house with a history stained by tragedy and mystery, uninhabited for decades. Lila Stewart tightened her grip on her flashlight as she trudged up the path. Each step felt like a test of courage, but she was determined. The story of Windcroft Manor intrigued her beyond measure, a writer's curiosity fueling her steps. Locals feared the place and avoided even discussing it, leaving a rich tapestry of shadows for Lila to explore. She reached the rusted wrought iron gates, still ajar as if inviting the curious. The wind howled, a low, mournful sound that echoed through the clearing. Lila hesitated at the threshold, feeling the weight of the decision to enter. Her heart raced, but the promise of a story worth telling urged her on. As she pushed the gates further apart, the creaking sound reverberated through the night like a ghostly wail. She glanced nervously over her shoulder, a habit more reassuring than revealing. But she was alone. A dense fog curled around her feet as she stepped onto the property, blanketing the ground in a swirling mystery. The manor rose ahead, its Gothic spires piercing the night sky like fingers grasping at the stars. Its windows were hollow eyes, staring out at the world with a gaze that seemed to pulse with a life of its own. Lila took a slow, deliberate breath and aimed her light towards the front door. The wood was weathered but unmistakably intact, defying the decades of abandonment. With each footfall on the stone steps, the sense of being watched intensified. The forest's cacophony faded into a tense silence as she turned the brass doorknob. The heavy door swung open to reveal a grand foyer, draped in shadows and moonlight. Dust motes floated lazily, disturbed by her arrival. Lila stepped inside, the air carrying a bitter chill like a breath from the past. Everywhere she looked, relics of a once grand life lay forgotten. Faded paintings, a chandelier adorned with cobwebs, and a massive staircase spiraling into darkness. Despite the decay, the house felt alive with secrets. Her flashlight beam danced across the room, catching glimpses of elegance lost in time. She paused, examining a portrait hanging by the far wall. It depicted a family, mother, father, and 2 young children, posed stiffly, yet betraying an undercurrent of something unseen. Their eyes seemed to follow her, imploring or warning. She couldn't tell. As she pondered the story behind those somber faces, a sudden noise made her heart leap, a soft thud from the upper floors. Lila froze, her senses sharpening. It could have been the creaking of the old house settling, but it felt more deliberate, more aware. Her pulse quickened, curiosity warring with the instinct to flee. Driven by the certainty that the house itself held the tales she sought, she began her ascent up the staircase. Each step groaned underfoot, the sound amplified in the oppressive silence. The second-floor corridor was long and lined with closed doors, each leading to untold stories. Her flashlight swept idly across them, and as she moved forward, she noticed one door slightly ajar, the only one unclosed. The soft glow from within beckoned her like a moth to flame. Lila hesitated on the threshold, the room beyond shaped by shadow and light. A grand piano dominated the center, its cover lifted as if recently played. An air of expectancy filled the space, thick with a silence that shivered under the weight of invisible eyes. Tentatively, she entered, walking on the balls of her feet as though fearing to wake whatever lingered. The piano's presence was palpable, an unearthly aura emanating from its keys. Almost involuntarily, Lila found our fingers brushing against them, releasing a discordant note that shattered the stillness. The sound reverberated through her like a seismic event, waking the house from its slumber. The walls seemed to tremble with life, shadows deepening in synchronized response. A chilling draft swept past, ruffling her hair and tugging at her senses. Lila stepped back sharply, heart thundering. Her eyes darted to the room's corners, shadows twisting and warping as if in silent conversation. The notion of being unwelcome, of intruding where only phantoms roamed, encroached upon her courage. Just as she resolved to retreat, she saw it. A figure, faint and ephemeral, standing by the window. It was a man, dressed in period clothing, with a face both hollow and haunting. His eyes, empty yet intensely aware, locked onto hers, as if searching for something lost to the ages. Lila staggered back, her voice caught in her throat. The figure remained, watching, guarding this realm of sorrow and echoes. As abruptly as it had appeared, it dissipated into the mists of dark dreams. Shaken, Lila turned, fleeing the room with renewed urgency. The corridor stretched endlessly before her, the whispers of the past chasing her every step. In her frantic retreat, the house seemed to reshape itself, halls twisting and lengthening, doors leading to empty, infinite voids. Panic set in, tightening around her chest like a vice. She burst into the foyer, gasping for the air that felt strangely absent. The door she'd entered so boldly now loomed as a portal to freedom. With desperate resolve, she slammed it open and staggered into the night, only to find the forest strangely altered, shadows reaching like living memories, desperate to reclaim her. She stumbled down the path, the gravity of the night's revelation weighing heavily upon her. The forest, sentient and aware, watched her go, preserving its enigma within a cocoon of darkness. Reaching the gates, Lila glanced back one last time, half expecting the specter to follow her into reality. But the manor stood quietly unchanged, a fortress of secrets and sorrows, waiting for the next daring soul to uncover its hidden truths. By morning, the town buzzed with rumors, whispers of the intrepid woman who dared to enter the manor and emerged with tales of a ghostly guardian. Yet Lila knew her words were inadequate to capture the essence of what she'd experienced. The story too vast and alive to be contained by mere language. Windcroft Manor held its mysteries close, a timeless enigma at the forest's heart, waiting and watching for the brave or the foolish to unlock the chapters of its spectral history.